Hi, my name is Andrew Finney with Berkshire Hathaway Home Service and Nevada Properties. Today we're going to chat about how to buy a new home construction with the VA home loan. To tell us more about this is Bill Marin with New American Funding. He's coming on next. Bill, thank you for coming by the office today and chatting more with us about how a veteran can buy a new home construction using their VA home loan.
Yeah, and as always, Andrew, thank you for having me come in today and be on the show. So this is something that's really, really exciting because there's a lot of new construction going on right now, especially in Clark County.
Right, I've seen a lot of it. I mean, it's going up everywhere. New home construction in Las Vegas, for reference, is booming.
Yes, it is, and it's something, guys. It's really, really, really important, regardless of what type of loan you do, but especially if you're doing a VA loan. And you're going to be buying a brand new property from a home builder, meaning you're going to buy the property, it's going to be dirt, you get the lot, and then you build the home up to completion, right? Not a custom home, but you're buying it from a new home builder. So it's really, really important that you're working with a lender that understands new construction, specifically related to the particular home builder. Now, I'm not by any means saying that you got to use their lender. Sometimes that makes sense, sometimes it doesn't. But you need to make sure your lender knows what they're doing with new construction.
Right.
Yeah.
So to give us some bullet points, our fellow veterans in Las Vegas and around the country are watching this, and I'm sure that obviously using a VA home loan across the country would be a lot more similar to what we do here locally, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So listen up for some bullet points that you're going to give us right now, and what our fellow veterans could use today if they went to a new home builder.
So the biggest thing is making sure that the lender you're working with is experienced in new home construction, and I would just flat out ask them. Okay. Say, have you worked with home builders before? Have you worked with this particular home builder before? And if they haven't, honestly, I'd recommend getting someone who has experience with new construction, because there's specific timelines and things that you need to understand with that home builder to make sure that the closing is not only successful in the beginning but through the very end, because most of the problems that we see, Andrew, with new construction ends up being at the very end of the transaction, which really sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what are one of the couple of biggest challenges you see whenever a veteran's getting ready to close on new home construction? You said it's coming up towards the end. That's the last time anybody wants something to come up, because obviously a family's getting ready to move. They're making their moving arrangements. They got everything getting packed up.
Yeah.
And if you have that little glitch right there, it could be a huge irritant. Tell us what it is now so we can be prepared for it and know how to best address it.
So outside of the home builder's timelines and things when they expect loan documents to be there with signing, walkthroughs, all that kind of stuff, there's two really crucial things. The first thing is the appraisal. The VA appraisers that are going out and doing the appraisal. But one thing as a veteran you got to understand when you're going in there and doing those upgrades, you want to talk to the new home sales consultant about, how much should I put in upgrades? What is my max cap? And I really would stick to that max cap, because if you go nuts, because there's some really cool stuff that you can put in these homes, a lot of times the VA appraisers will not give you the full value of the property, and that usually comes up towards the end of the transaction.
So if that were to happen, what happens?
So there's something called a Tidewater initiative that the VA appraisers issue, to where they give you 10 days. They give the lender and the builder and the buyer 10 days to explain why the property is worth what they're saying it's worth with all the upgrades. You can dispute that. Even if it doesn't come back, it takes time, it can cause delays. So you just want to make sure that you are within those thresholds of options and don't really go over.
That makes a lot of sense, and I'm glad that you brought up some really good points there, Bill. For one, you told us a little bit more about the Tidewater program. The Tidewater initiative, I believe, was the exact word, right? Okay, but the other thing that I believe was pretty important is having also worked with new home construction and representing different families, whether they were veterans or otherwise in Las Vegas. I can honestly tell you that most families that I've seen that contract on new home construction, when we're talking about options and what a family normally puts into it, the lowest I've ever seen a family go in with options was roughly like 5% of the total sales price. And the highest one, well, he was a veteran, and it was his last, and he said it's going to be his final home. And he said, when I asked him, he said, how long are you going to keep this home? And he said, well, I'm going to be carried out here at room temperature. So if that gives you any idea why maybe he went as far as he did, it was actually like 43% of the sales price that he put into that home. So, I mean, typically we're looking at most families put in between 5 and 15%. So it's just something that if you see like a $400,000 home, go ahead and add like 5 to 15% depending on what your taste and what your family's decision are as far as putting in options. But, I really appreciate you coming by today and telling us more about this. So if a veteran wants to get started right now,
Yeah.
What would be their next step for getting qualified?
Good question. So even though it's new construction, guys, and you're looking, 3 to 6 months typically for new construction from start to finish, you have to treat it, and the lender has to treat it like it's a 30-day closing. So the first thing to do is it should be done before you even go out and find the property, but once you find the property, you need to make sure that you're fully pre-approved. And what that means is the first thing is you can go online, you can complete the application, get the application done, go to the website. Once the application is completed, we can run credit, check for the certificate of eligibility, and that's one of the bigger hang-ups too with new construction. Is sometimes the lender, if they're not familiar with it, they'll think, well, I've got 6 months, man. I don't have to do all this now. You want to make sure that you are that your loan is fully approved, that you've met all the approval conditions, and that everything's being done within that 30-day time frame.
Great. It sounds like really great advice, and really appreciate you sharing that with us. So if you're out of state right now watching this video, please find yourself a military-friendly loan officer and a military-friendly real estate agent, because we're obviously going to be very familiar with how to work with your loan type, and obviously being veterans and active duty, we all speak the same language, so that's always helpful as well. So Bill, I really appreciate you coming by today and telling us more about how to help a veteran looking to buy a new home construction. If you like this real estate geekness with some lender goodness, please like and share, and enjoy an amazing day.
Thank you.